Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God, they don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver.
Oh my God, no edge.
Was sitting there.
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Yuli, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get Jacoby Dean. We can get Jacoby Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. He took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge. What is up, Jets fam? It is Jets Chaos, and it is time to react to the New York Jets draft. React, we did. I have reactions recorded in the moment, but there's nothing quite like letting it settle in and thinking about it for a while. I do want to announce that we did get Trading in undrafted free agency, or whatever you want to call it. He didn't get drafted. But the issue with that is that he will, he's a box safety. So that doesn't really give us a free safety option. Don't worry about that, Braden. I got you covered. Even in a new draft promo, there's still some New Zealand in there, Mike. I found a way to get you in, so don't worry about it. You're going to love it. So let's say hello to some people. Dakota, first one here. Good to see you. Yes, snacks. Not a lot of snacks today, though. Although I did have some burnt ends and cheddar cheese, Pablo pepper grits before. And I think tonight is just going to be like hot dogs. We're going to be like kids. So I'm going to throw some hot dogs on the barbecue. Braden, of course, from New Zealand is here. Harlan, my friend, is here. It's good to see you, my friend. Jacob Finnegan is here. And everybody, I'm sure you're all having a strong reaction to the draft. I mean, let me see in the chat how you guys feel. I mean, let's start with the first pick. I don't know about you, but I was shocked, to say the least. It was definitely a very surprising pick for me when we took Will McDonald. But I will say I have a lot of hope that he's going to be an excellent player. So if Will McDonald breaks out and gets, anywhere over 8 sacks his first year and then becomes a 10-plus sack guy, no one will look back at it as a bad pick. I mean, we'll be thrilled forever. It's just concerning. We didn't get tackle. I would have hoped we traded back. It's not what I expected. But, I have had time to look at the tape. Play Like a Jet did a nice video on the guy. Apparently, when he's definitely the future Carl Lawson replacement in the sense that he's definitely a wide gap player. Like you can't put him over the tackle or guard on the line. He definitely has to be a little bit off in the gap, and has to have like a running head start. That's just his style. Like if you watch all his good plays, all his penetration comes when you give him a head start with some space. So this is a guy I mean, unless they develop and change him, he's not the kind of guy you're going to line up on the tackle. He's going to be lined up wide. And if what he did in college translates to the NFL, he's going to be a nightmare for tackles There's some really, really good tape on this kid. He's really good at taking advantage of any little mistake an offensive lineman makes. If an offensive lineman does not get their hands in the right place or is off balance at all, he feeds on them. I mean, he really will feed on them. So, to me, it doesn't move the meter as much because I felt we were already strong at edge. But if he adds 8 sacks or not, whatever, and is amazing right off the bat, then he moves the needle. I guess if we want our defense to continue to be a top 5 or better, we have to pressure the quarterback. And you could tell by the drafting that JD understands that and Robert Saleh understands that. They know that they just have to keep loading up on edge. And there you go. That's what it is. It's just a matter of, do we feel comfortable with who we have at tackle? We just have to hope everybody's healthy. We have to hope Becton is healthy, and Max Mitchell's okay, and that Dwayne is okay, and if that's the case, then we'll be okay. I don't think the kid we drafted is someone we want to rely on, but Max Mitchell came through, so why not this guy Warren? So Carlos, you seem happy. Go Jets. That second round pick is pretty damn exciting, isn't it? Mess gives it a D. I don't think we felt the need for center as much once we signed McGovern, but you have to really think of this takes care of the future, and this guy is a mover. McGovern is like okay at center, but this guy can actually move people. So think about the running game and thinking about having a center who could really get out there and move people and create holes and create space and really improve the running game, which will help Breece Hall a lot. So, the other thing is that it gives us depth because Connor McGovern can play guard. So if there is an injury, we're really improving as a team. I mean, there was a time where, you name guys like McDermott and this and that, you name these guys that would come in, Connor McGovern coming in as your backup guard / center for offensive depth at line, not a bad thing. I'm hearing rumors. I'm hearing a lot of people are hoping that we re-sign Fant. Again, if Fant is your backup, if he is your backup tackle, like a swing tackle, just in case somebody gets injured, that is not a bad thing. These are great depth players. Let's see if that's true, if they can sign Fant. That would be cool. I don't think he's going to cost that much because obviously the market's not materializing for him either. We're not used to having draft picks. That depth is a good thing. It is. That's the change. That's what's changing about the Jets is we're no longer picking just guys that we desperately need because we don't have anybody. We're actually picking players that are building depth on our roster. So it's an interesting thing. It's not as exciting or fun or sexy though, is it? McDonald is a Lawson replacement, definitely in the future. I mean, not this year. I don't think because they certainly gave no indication that they would cut Lawson this year, but definitely thinking for the future. Let him develop now, and unless Lawson comes back for a cheap contract, we're certainly not going to pay him a lot of money to come back next year, unless he has a career breakout in sacks and goes 10 plus sacks. Nathan Colgrove is here. How about getting a starting free safety as an undrafted free agent? One of Don C's favorite, I'm sure. Well, Trey Dean is not really much a free safety. He's a box safety. So that's a little bit concerning. But, I think we're going to use Whitehead in coverage. I think we're going to use Clark in coverage. I think we're going to disguise and do that. Also, the cornerback that we did select, forgetting his name, I'm hearing played a lot of slot corner and a lot of played in the back a lot. So that kid that we did select, and why is his name? Somebody put his name in there for me. I'm forgetting his name now. That guy, Zion Barnes. Okay, just got. Oh, that's the linebacker. But anyway, the cornerback that we selected is supposedly someone that you might see converted into a safety. So we'll see. And they must really love Adams. I think that they just really like Adams more than we know. So, So you can have lots of different opinions, and I'm still kind of like, this is the kind of draft for me. It's like time will tell. Am I excited? Yeah, I'm excited about Tippmann at center. I'm excited about McDonald because if he pans out, I've been dreaming about having that dominating defensive edge. I mean, one of the sack leaders in the league. I mean, if you watch his tape, if that translates, if he becomes that, I'll be very happy. Very, very happy. So you're saying the Jets killed the draft with a few draft picks. Your 2023 Super Bowl champions, New York Jets. I love the enthusiasm and the positivity. I really do. And there's nothing I'd rather see happen than that. This draft says to me they're confident in Becton, Sherwood, and Adams. Yeah, you would think, right? You would think. Because if they weren't confident in those guys, I just thought of Sherwood as the backup to Mosley. I mean, if he could play on the outside, fine. It's just that they didn't do that last year. Like last year, they never let him do that. They only used him to replace Mosley when Mosley was hurt for that, 4 or 5 plays. And he did great. If they're willing to put Sherwood out there, then fine. Like instead of Quan Alexander, if you're gonna stick Sherwood out there, that's fine. He looked really good to me. I just as long as he's versatile enough to do that. A-Lab Studios became a member. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for becoming a snacker. I appreciate it. Good for you, man. You get to be, you get certain emojis, and you get to call yourself a snacker. You're a snacker. Like when I say, hey, snackers, that's you. You're awesome, A-Lab Studio. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. MD4 needs to add a little weight, but should be okay. All right. Lots of guys, when they come into, the NFL, they need to gain some weight. So he's definitely going to have to put on 15 pounds of muscle. And I'm sure when he gets into an NFL gym with an NFL trainer, in the facility, they're going to work on that, and they'll do it. I think, they're comparing him to guys like, Gregory and, Randy Gregory and Brian Burns. I'm hearing, those kind of player comps. But I think in reality, maybe not in style, but I think what Saleh wants is his Bosa. I mean, I think what he's really looking for is he really wants to hit a home run on a guy that's going to really not just pressures like Lawson, but a guy that actually is getting sacks, and just terrorizing the opponent. And if he could step up right away and show any indication of that, we're going to be a very, very dangerous team because we're going to be scoring points now. Tippmann can play guard too. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Tippmann can play guard. So so it's a good point, because if McGovern did have to come in, maybe McGovern comes in at center and Tippmann moves over to guard if somebody gets hurt. So that could definitely do it. You love the Izzy pick? The Izzy pick. Tippmann will be and get rotated in and get his snaps. Yeah, I think he's going to win the job outright, to be honest. I think he's a lot better than McGovern, specifically in the run game. I think he's a lot better. I think he's somebody who's actually going to move people. He ends up on top a lot. He pancakes people. That's kind of exciting. Some fans got to be a little realistic. We're not going to have a 2022 draft every year. Yeah, well, we didn't have the picks to have a draft like that every year. And, that's just one of those things. But the key thing is hitting on the players. Forget about position. Forget about everything else. It's something we don't know yet. It's hitting on the players. If Tippmann becomes an all-pro center, if McDonald becomes an all-pro edge, if he's a 10-plus sack guy, what if he gets like his second, third year, he gets 15, 16 sacks? I know it's a big what if, but if he did, and Tippmann is a top-notch center in the league, then we're going to call this a great draft. You only need 2 to really, really hit for it to be a great draft. If you add on 2 special players, especially when you look at the stars we already have. Can you imagine if we're going to add on a star center, and now we might possibly add on another star edge or a disruptor at edge? It could be really special. And we don't know that this guy Warren's not going to develop into being a really good tackle. We don't know about any of these later picks. Any of these later picks are throwing darts, but sometimes those darts hit. I do want to talk about that running back. That running back to me is not a dart. To me, that running back was someone that Tigo had talked about a lot and was making a lot of sense. And after Tigo told me about him, I looked into him a little bit and watched some of his film. And you guys should do it too. We got ourselves someone who could potentially be our running back too. Michael Carter better watch himself. Bam Knight, I mean, I like those young backs and everything, but this guy is a one cut and explodes super fast runner. He's a sprinter. Guys, if this guy gets around the edge or if he goes through a hole and gets in front of people, he's gone. No one's catching him. So the running back might end up being one of those surprise kind of amazing picks for us. So don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if you know what I mean. Don't be shocked. Warren can actually get some starter snaps. I guess it's possible. I don't know. I know that he would have been a much higher pick if not for injury. I know that he was only there when he was there because he has an injury history. So it's a little bit of rolling the dice. But if he stays healthy, then I mean, who knows what his potential is and what could be. I mean, I trust JD. You know what I mean? Super Leroy saying a great draft. Cool. I think it was a very disciplined draft too. You know what I mean? Can't judge a judge for a few years. That's true. You can't really judge a draft for a few years. It's really true. Except when you're talking about last year when you win an offensive and a defensive rookie of the year, then it makes it a little bit easier to judge. But yeah, I mean, if McDonald broke out and right away contributed, and Tippmann right away won the starting job and it was awesome, you could start judging. But sometimes it's going to take 3-4 years before you really know. Even the 2020 draft or 2021 draft, the 2020 draft with Becton, opinions might change based on this year. If he has an amazing year, then it makes that draft look a little bit less of a disaster and a little bit more popular. Mims too. Like if suddenly Mims broke out, different things can change the way you view a draft. So Zane Barnes is a faster linebacker, just got to be a lot over a middle last year. He might help us there. He might. I'm hearing different reports on him, but yeah, I mean, I could see. Definitely the intention when we pick a linebacker for speed is to cover guys. Will he be ready year one? Will he be able to get snaps in this year? Do we want to just sign Quan Alexander and get a known entity if we can afford him? I mean, only having to pay Aaron Rodgers $1.3 million this year certainly gives us more space in the cap than we thought we had, possibly. So it might give us a little bit more flexibility. So I'm looking for either Nick Fant or I'm looking, or Quan Alexander or both of them to come back because it doesn't seem like they're getting amazing offers anywhere else because I don't see them signing anywhere else. So it'd be really nice to add depth with those pieces. I would be happy to see it. They know our system. We know them. We know who they are. They know who we are. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of risk. You know what you're getting. So as long as the price is good, I even saw people saying we should have taken. Well, I trust Joe Douglas. If he likes Tippmann better, he likes Tippmann better. I trust him, and it's not like the world went crazy on the Jets for doing it. Plenty of people had Tippmann as over Schmitz. Plenty of people. So if one thing you could talk about is should we have reached and just grabbed Antown Harrison, and grab the tackle. But again, maybe we really believe Becton is playing, and they really believe that they, between Dwayne and Mitchell, that it's a wasted pick, with the first pick, that to take a guy that you don't need because maybe they're confident. Maybe they're confident and they're okay with Warren being the depth piece and the development piece. Maybe they're thinking this guy Warren is going to be their starting tackle in 2 years or next year. We don't know. We'll hear more about them. We'll learn about them. I mean, it won't be the first time and it won't be the last time a fourth round tackle, somebody gets drafted in the fourth round especially somebody with a story of why they slipped down to the fourth round and then end up being very solid football players. So not everybody, not every tackle that we're going to have on the field or every offensive lineman we're going to have on the field is a first round draft pick. As a matter of fact, if everybody on your field has to be a first or second round draft pick for you to be a good team, you're never going to be a good team because it's just a fairy tale. You have to be able to hit in those later rounds, and you have to be able to make smart signings and do smart trades. I think trading for that safety Clark from Baltimore was brilliant. It's a guy that cost us $2 million. He cost us nothing. Over 100 tackles, versatile. I mean, those are the kind of role players you need to add to a team, to your stars, because no team has 22 stars. It just doesn't work like that. See, Hennessy, by the way, hello. It's good to see you here. And McDonald does force fumbles. That is something that people should pay attention to. And that's a technique. It's the way you tackle. And also, he's not a dirty player. He's not going to get us those freaking JFM roughing the passer penalties. He's a wraparound tackle, the quarterback tackler, if you watch him. He doesn't try to go for the big hit, hurt the guy. He doesn't go high. He doesn't try to knock the guy out. He's not full of that kind of – he's not vain. He just gets the job done. He reaches, he wraps, he tackles. But when he does that little swipe motion. There's some technique you're taught to swipe that ball out as you're going to – like he swipes and wraps. So he takes the shot, and once in a while he causes that fumble, which is nice. And when he doesn't do it in a way where then he misses the tackle. He wraps the guy up, and that's what we want. But remember, he's going to have to play in space. Like he's a wide gap 9, they call it a 9 gap. Like he is going to have to play in space. The tape is very evident to that, unless he puts on 15 pounds of muscle, gets a lot stronger, and changes, his game. There is some tape of him bulldozing people, but that's not who he is. He's a guy who comes around and with a great bend, great spin, adjust. Like he's a grinder, man. Like it's like the offensive lineman does. Like I said before, any mistake with that hand, that offensive lineman misplaces his hands and gets his hand stuck on the outside, or he's going to spin right through. So it's like he could be a very exciting player for us. Very exciting player. It was just a surprise. I'm not going to lie. McDonald was just it's just a really, really big surprise. Absolutely, man. He's got to add some muscle. Jets fan 4, it's good to see you, brother. We drafted players familiar with our system as well. So that's nice to hear. I didn't pay attention to that part, but that's look, they're smart. They're smart. JD and these guys that are running this organization, they're smart people, man. They're smart people. Even if we don't agree with everything we do, I promise you, they're smart people. That's an incredible thing that DeJuan Jones went so far. I am blown away. There must be something we don't know. That was one of the biggest shocks of the draft to me. That was one of the bigger ones, for sure. McDonald seems twitchy and athletic enough that he adds 10 pounds. He won't lose explosiveness. Yeah, definitely not. They're not gonna, they're professionals. They're gonna build him up in a way where they won't sacrifice his speed and his flexibility. Yeah, he knows how to turn freak athletes into great players. You're right, Elab. That's what he's interested in. That's what he goes out and he gets us. Yeah, well, he needs to gain weight if you're going to want to line him up over a tackle, though. I mean, if you're primarily just going to put him in the wide gap, then you can make that argument. But if you really want to get versatility out of him and be able to put him over the tackle, sometimes he's going to have to get a little bit stronger. He's going to have to add some muscle. All depends on how you're going to use him. But I'm sure that they said it. They're going to put 15 pounds of muscle on him because he wants it. He's going to want to be a complete player. You don't want to be limited to, I could only when I line up wide. You don't want to be a one-dimensional player. And plenty of guys come out of college needing to grow in certain areas, needing to get bigger, needing to do this, doing that. I mean, you hear them all say it, that, they grow every year. So you really like the Zach Kuntz pick. He's a beast. I thought you just wanted me to say that out loud. A lot of people like Kuntz. Um, Look, he's very, very fast, very speedy. He might catch a lot of balls. So, you know what I mean? I'm sure Kuntz will get a lot of balls, and we'll be very happy with the pick. We're hoping we can. Well, I think I think that I don't know if both of them go next year, but definitely we won't. Both of them won't stay next year. That's for sure. Jeremy Ruckert's taking one of the spots too, guys. Don't like he's already to me. I've seen enough to know he's going to be fine as a blocking tight end. I don't know if he's going to be the stud receiving tight end yet, but just what Rucker did in that last game against Miami, I was excited. He's going to be a very good blocking tight end. So he fits one piece of the puzzle for us for sure. I don't know if he fits that piece of great receiving tight end. So let's see. Maybe this guy Kuntz will be the guy. But eventually that piece is going to have to get filled. And plus we'll see how our tight ends do with, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. You got to remember that, quarterback changes everything. So my brother is here. Hello, hello, youngest of the generation. I am the youngest of the generation, but because of you, there's cravat generations much younger. So now I am no longer the baby of the family. I wouldn't say that Michael Carter's not good. I think Michael Carter's good. He's just not elite. And what a good running back is a running back that is pretty much going to perform like their offensive line. So when the offensive line was good and did well, Michael Carter does well. When the offensive line is crappy and doesn't block, Michael Carter's not going to be able to do anything. That's probably the definition of a good NFL running back. Like if you block well, they will perform. There are games I could show you. When we played the Buffalo game where we beat Buffalo, Michael Carter had some big plays. So, we're all remembering the way the season ended when we had a makeshift offensive line. But I think Israel could be better, but we'll find out. We got to see how his game translates. He certainly has the speed. He's certainly the right style of player for this offensive scheme. He is a one cut and go running back, and he's a lot stronger than Michael Carter as far as power. I think he'll have a lot more power when he runs. But Michael Carter breaks tackles too. Michael Carter doesn't exactly go down on the first hit typically. So I think we got to be a little nicer to him. I mean, I don't want him to be our starter. And I certainly every running back we get, like we draft a new running back, you want him to be the best running back on the team. Imagine we got a running back better than Breece Hall. Oh my God. Then we have Breece Hall and the guy that's even better, which is impossible. But I hope he's as good. He's awesome. I want every position to get better. So, Cuca Lake Jets fan, what's up, my friend? Jets undrafted free agents look solid. Yeah, the wide receiver, what's his name, Bradley's or something. There was one I really liked. So, we usually end up with at least one. That's Joe Douglas's track record. Like, we'll usually end up with at least one player that's an undrafted free agent that will actually contribute to the team. Don't forget Huff was an undrafted free agent, and don't forget that Bam Knight was an undrafted free agent. So we definitely have a couple of guys that have helped this team. Also, the way he picked up JFM was kind of random, right? Nobody knew about him. So Joe Douglas is, he finds diamonds in the rough. He does. And he doesn't hit on everything. He hit on Reed, a quarterback. He missed a little bit on Whitehead, I'd say. But by the way, Robert Saleh seems confident that Whitehead's going to work out and be better in the second year. We'll see. I believe these are good players that need to be coached up to be better players. Yeah. And we have a better coaching staff. Now we've resolved the issue from when they first started. There's a lot more experience. I love the offensive changes that we made. The offensive line coach. I love Buddy Hackett with Rodgers specifically. We already have the really good defensive coaches. Our defensive back coach, Ogden, is awesome. He's been doing it for 20 years. So I like our staff. I think we're in a good position to develop players. I think that Saleh specifically's expertise comes in with a guy like McDonald. I think that's where Salah is not going to hold back. He's going to make sure that guy develops into a star, and I think that's what he's doing with Jamie and Sherwood. And if Jamie and Sherwood could play the mic and or not, and be outside and not in the middle, so he can be on the field sometimes, I think we're going to see that they're doing a really good job with him. I'm not sure about Nazeldine. Yeah. So you probably reacted to what I said before. Those are the two people I would love to sign right now. As long as we don't overpay them, which I don't think we'd have to. I don't think either of them have much of a market. These are the two guys I would love to add. It would make me feel so much better. Our offensive line depth, I feel great. Like, let's say Becton wins the job, and then Dwayne wins the job, and then you have freaking Max Mitchell, Fant, and this kid Warren. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And then with McGovern and Tittman, then you got McGovern now as depth. So there's tons of depth there in the interior because McGovern could go out and play guard. So can Tittman. So you have options there. Plus, we signed some guys that aren't horrendous, that have experience. And then you got to get Quan back because we didn't take a linebacker that I don't think we took a linebacker we could really trust and rely on, if we're going for the Super Bowl this year. If Quan is not getting a market for himself out there, and we can pick him up for, something that's reasonable within our cap and our budget, we should grab him because he did an okay job. He knows our system. He fits our scheme. So you're saying it's going to happen week 1, Hennessy? Man, I hope it does. Speaking of Hennessy, we locked him up for 4 years. So one of our most important players that we forget about, our long snapper, he's locked up for 4 more years. So I like the way Leroy's thinking. The center. So that's why they took him over JMS, right? Because it's the system. It's the system. I mean, you take players that are great athletes, or they're freak athletes that are great players, but also are proven to excel in your system. Yeah, that was it. Leroy, that was it. No, he actually is making he's going to make like 1.9 million, I think. Not just one, but it is pretty incredible. But what's more incredible is that Aaron Rodgers is costing our cap is less against the cap this year than Connor is. Connor hits our cap harder right now than Aaron Rodgers. Although we are paying Aaron Rodgers 112 million next year until we restructure. Running back wasn't a shock after Ty Johnson went down. When they announced that Ty Johnson was cut or whatever with unrelated football injury, because we went with 4 running backs, especially with Breece Hall coming back from that injury. We don't know that Breece Hall, if they're going to play him full time, if they're going to let him sit out they might pup him, PUPM, pup him for the first 6 games. Like, we don't know 100% what's going to happen with Breece Hall. We lost Ty Johnson, so that left just Bam Knight and Michael Carter. So it's not that shocking. And they got a good one. They got a good one. He's going to be an exciting running back, guys. People are going to wait until this guy plays in preseason. It's going to be fun. If he gets ahead of that defense, if he gets past them, and you see this guy, this speed, he's off to the races, people are going to get excited about him. Yeah, it's not for no reason. They see something in him, man. They see something in him. I watched the tape. I see it now. I didn't know who he was. I didn't spend any time watching tape. Then I watched Play Like a Jets film. Then I watched my own highlights. It's pretty freaking exciting. The guy looks like a freaking, like the traditional guy who gets lots of sacks, like the bend. It's not just relying on one thing where he's like having to bulldoze through. This guy is able to bend. I mean, his whole body is twisted. Like, it's like he could leave the guy when he breaks his hands free and go around in such speed or cut back in. He takes crazy angles. He has great vision. He's an exciting player. I don't know why we overlooked him. A lot of people overlooked him. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Fant has only played one when he's beside ABT. Well, he's just going to be a depth piece. So let's hope that he doesn't even have to play. But Fant would certainly be better than what's that guy's name? Awajaloon or whatever. Look, Fant had he was hurt last year, but the year before that, he stepped up pretty good for us. You give him a B? Well, again, I'm not going to grade it until either next year or 3 years. I mean, like we could grade last year. Some draft needs more time, but like eventually you will be able to look back and know for sure what kind of draft it was for us. Sometimes teams you think had a great draft had an absolutely, it turns out to be a horrible draft. And sometimes teams you think have a horrible draft, it proves out later that it's a great draft. So, you just don't know. Kuka Jets. I'm trying to say your name right because you once spelled it phonetically for everyone. So I'm trying to. Kuka Lake Jets fan says, look at the production Huff did with his short arms, hoping McDonald can get those crucial sacks. Yeah, but you know what else has to happen? They have to stop holding us, or the refs have to do something when they're holding us. Because they were holding Huff every single play. There were so many plays where it was either Carl Lawson or Huff being held. Greenby was pointing it out during the games. He's like, look, they're holding him. And then they play it in slow motion, and you'd be like, oh, my God, look, they really are. So I wish the refs would pay more attention to that. Is this Greenby took a lot? Oh, about DeJuan Jones dropping? I assume that's what you're talking about. Well, we certainly don't need another guy who we have to have a scale attached to him, right? We've been through that. That's why I don't think the fans ever really warmed up to the thought of DeJuan Jones. Randy, welcome. Don't know your name, so welcome to the chat. Thanks for stopping in, saying something, saying hello. Are Johnson and JFM getting a higher percentage of snaps inside with McDonald's on the outside? Is that how we get more bang for our buck without adding a price EDT? That's what I've been saying. Like every time we didn't draft a defensive tackle, I said, obviously JFM and Clemens are going to rotate in and play on the inside a little bit more. I'm not saying they're going to become interior defensive tackles. I'm saying that they're going to do a little of both, that they're going to get more snaps out of those two guys on the inside unless they sign someone. Because right now we don't really have, we're at least one short. And that not even the way we play, we're more than one short because we like to do low percentage. Now, if they got one more guy who could play 40 to 50% of the snaps, then you're fine with Clemens and JFM just filling in a little bit. And then you have the guys that we got there, so Solomon or whatever, and the guy we signed. I'm forgetting his name because I'm horrible at names until I actually start watching them play. But I do think that as of right now, expect them to play on the inside more. My answer to that is yes. Yeah. And I want to say I do see McDonald more as the future Carl Lawson replacement than I see him as the future Huff replacement, because I see him more as, again, that gap guy like Lawson, the guy who's going to stand up a little bit or line up further outside, with a little bit more space between him and the tackle. Like, watch his college tape, you'll see. Not the year he had 5 sacks where they were lining him up for the tackle. Watch him his junior year when they were actually allowing him to have some space. That was when he got the 11 sacks. So they were definitely misusing him a lot. So don't panic over his numbers. McDonald could have been a lot more dominating. He was very misused. Like there were times that they were lining him up over the guard, like way in the defensive line, which is just not the way you use McDonald. It's just bad coach. Like, it's just a bad usage of talent. But I can promise you Salah's not going to do that. So Perry, you seem to think that the draft went okay. B, okay. I can't see JJ moving inside. Neither can I. He's too good at sealing the edge. Jermaine Johnson will not move inside. Jermaine Johnson is a first down, second down. I'm not saying he can't be a pass rusher because I think he's going to get sacks and I think he'll be fine on first, second down when they pass. I think 3rd and 15, he's not in there simply because you're going with Huff or JFM and Carl Lawson. But JJ is our best. Well, JFM, you could argue JFM is our best edge sealer, but Jermaine Johnson's biggest talent, aside from the fact that, hopefully he'll get lots of sacks, but his real talent that we know that already showed that he already did well last year was sealing the edge. Also bouncing off to get quarterbacks that were running. Don't forget what he did to Josh Allen. So Jermaine Johnson is definitely not moving inside. That would be a big mistake for us. Because one of the things I like now is when it's 1st and 10, the game starts, whatever drive starts, if you see JJ in there, on the right side, left side for the defense, depending on how, from the quarterback perspective, the right side, you see JJ lined up there, that nobody is running around that edge, that the quarterback's not going to scramble around for a big gain, that the running back is not going to take off and get an edge run. Like, that's what JJ brings you. He seals that freaking gap. That edge is not available. That lane is closed. But so does JFM. Because like I say it about JJ, I get all excited. Then Dom C reminds me, he goes, Jeremy, JFM is excellent at sealing the edge. Excellent. So, in our system, you have to do that. You have to. It's not just going after the quarterback. You have to take an angle that you can't cut inside unless you have a scheme where a linebacker or someone behind you, a safety in the box, is going to fill that spot and take care of the edge. But otherwise you can't cut inside unless it's planned. Otherwise it's an easy 5 to 10 yards for the offense. Remember the talk months ago that Rodgers was such a bad guy and he's not going to do anything in New York. Well, it certainly doesn't seem the case now. The fact that he practiced the next day and was warming up with Lazard, pretty exciting. The Rangers up 3-1, did that say? My eyesight's so bad I can't see my own computer screen. I gotta wait till it pops up in the big monitor. What period is it? I forgot when the game started, but that makes it 3-3, right? So that means we'll go to a game 7. All right. Knicks already won their series, so that's done. My Kings, it's Knicks, but I also, obviously being in Sacramento, I'm very excited about the Kings. Have forced the game 7. Yesterday we lit our laser. We lit our beam. We had a nice purple beam last night. It was really nice. Moved out to Sacramento. I've adopted the Kings as my West Coast team for basketball. Oh, yeah, that's right. Clemens inside. Johnson always looks so big when he's on the field, though. Yeah. He played big. He played big. He did. People look at the only people that don't think that JJ had a good year are people that look at box scores. Like, if you're watching the game, that Jermaine Johnson played really well. If you're watching the game, that Michael Clemens played really well. I mean, these guys raised havoc. There are plays that I noticed. The game against Buffalo, it turns out that Michael Clemens did some kind of key block on the fake punt. I don't know if you remember, there was like a 4th and 3 situation against Buffalo in the game we beat them where we did a fake punt and ran up the middle. And it was actually Michael Clemens who was the lead blocker. And I didn't know that until I rewatched the game last week on the NFL channel. I saw 52. I was like, wait a second. That was Clemens who made that block. I go, what the hell is he doing in there? So it was pretty fun to notice that. So no wonder Adam's not here. He's probably watching that Rangers game. Undrafted free agent. He was Fordham quarterback. Set a single season passing record. I'm not surprised the Jets didn't go after the Fordham wide receiver or running back. Yeah, look, I'm surprised they didn't. Well, you can only call so many people in such a short time. All the got 30 teams calling people, so they went after their guys. They did get that wide receiver, Blackley or Black Ashley. What the hell? I can't remember any names. They did go after a wide receiver, undrafted free agent, who people expected to get drafted. That people were excited about. So we'll see if they do anything. But we're gonna have needs next year. That we're gonna lose some players. We're gonna have to let people go and free up salary, and we're gonna have to pick up some players somehow. But Joe Douglas. Well, let's worry about 1 year at a time. Right now, we have a team that definitely is in the conversation, and that's all that matters. Funny listening to Jets fans over the moon on Kuntz. They used to mock me saying Gesicki can't block. Jets fans is a Gesicki clone. Kuntz is a Gesicki clone. Yeah, well, I think that the Jets have so many tight ends that can block that they might be looking at him as they might be utilizing him almost as a tight end wide receiver. Like they might be bringing him out in the slot. So they're not really going to rely on him as a blocker, Daniel. I think that they have 3 tight ends who could block. Jeremy Ruckert's the future. And the 2 tight ends they have right now are very good blocking tight ends, or decent. So I think that they wanted another weapon. And I think that they're going to try to utilize this kid as a weapon, speed, like sneak him out in the gap or something and have him cut across the field, like that kind of thing. And I don't know how much he's going to play this year, to be honest with you. But most Jet fans wanted Gesicki, by the way. I know some Jet fans were like, oh, I don't want Gesicki. But there were a lot of us that would have been very happy signing Gesicki. So, because a lot of us felt you don't need every tight end to be two-dimensional, like blocking and receiving. You're allowed, as long as you have a balance on your roster, to have a tight end that's just a great receiver. But I don't know if the Jets management feels that way. But obviously drafting this guy shows that they are willing to give a guy a chance that's not looking like a blocking tight end, that looks like more of a receiving tight end. But I know that Jet fans aren't against the receiving tight ends. We've never been. Quan and Fant, E-Boogie wants Quan and Fant. I hope so, brother. I hope so. Here's a good friend of mine, brother of mine, Hader Ali. It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope your family's well. And everything is good with you. Fordham as a football factory. Never thought of Fordham as a football factory. Well, Hofstra, Fordham, Rutgers, sometimes they hit. They put out a player. So you never really know. I mean, UC Davis put out Ken O'Brien. I'm not too far. I'm about 25 minutes from UC Davis. Don't think of them that much as a football school. Sacramento State got a guy drafted on the second night or something, the second round or something. I flipped out. I lost my I can't believe the Sacramento State guy got drafted in the first 3 rounds. I was so excited. Sacramento State is literally 10 minutes away from me. I don't even go to the games, but apparently there was a player somebody fell in love with. I think it was New England. I think New England's a cornerback or someone out of Sacramento State. It was sick. I couldn't believe it. That doesn't happen often. Brees is coming back from an injury, and Bam is not proven. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're justifying why we had to draft another running back, yeah. I don't look again. If we block well, Michael Carter and Bam will be fine. If we block well. If our offensive line's getting hurt or not playing together or not playing well, then they're not elite, so they're not going to play well. But when our offensive line played well, those running backs played well. I'm telling you, the offensive line is the biggest part of your running game. It's the blocking. The elite guys, there are special elite guys, Barry Sanders, that you can have a weak offensive line and they're still going to produce. Breece Hall was doing it. Was special, even with an offensive line. It was before they got hurt, but they still weren't great. But Breece Hall is special. Now, you're not going to have, very rarely, you're going to have two special running backs on one team. Very rarely is a team going to have two running backs that can both overcome not having an offensive line. So we really can't look at it as Michael Carter or Bam Knight, the problem. The issue is going to be, can we block for them? If we have really good run blocking, which I believe we're going to have, especially with our offensive line coach coming from Tennessee, if we have a good scheme and the guys execute, our running backs, our backup, our RB3, our RB2 and 3 will be fine. They will be fine. Don't forget, I know that Michael Carter struggled, but before it started to fall apart, even last year, I could show you he had good moments. I'm telling you, he's not done. It's not magic. You don't, like, you saw Michael Carter's rookie year. You don't just magically lose that. You have to, like, be smart enough to realize if you saw the way Michael Carter played year one as a rookie, and you watched when he started to fall apart last year, right when AVT got hurt and we were officially a makeshift offensive line that was horrendous. Don't forget they were putting 8-9 guys in the box and daring our quarterbacks to beat them because we had the worst quarterbacks. So they had 8 guys in the box. They were stacking the box. They were saying, you could try to pass us on all day. You don't have a quarterback. We're just going to stop your run. So you have to put all that together. You got to have an offensive line, and you have a quarterback that doesn't let the defense do that. You think you're going to stack the box all day, 8 guys in the box, and challenge Aaron Rodgers? Be my guest, because he'll pick them apart all night long, all game long, all day long, whatever you want to say. I say night because I'm imagining us playing a lot of night games this year, guys. Georgia Tech wide receiver is a freak. Could be a steal. Anybody, you never know. You never know. But I believe in this. And you know why I believe in this? My biggest argument of believing in this is that 3 years ago, we had the biggest joke of a roster you could ever imagine. Go back and look at our 2020 roster. We thought Marcus May was our star. Remember how it said, you got to sign him. Oh, my God. How we don't sign any of our stars. We had Marcus May as a star. I'm not saying he wasn't a good player, but we were looking at him like he was a star because on our roster, we didn't have any other good players. Now look at our roster. Our roster is so good that Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old says, I want to play with those guys. That's all JD, guys. That's all JD. So I trust him too. What is Randy saying? He's saying a lot. So confused whether Becton's option is up this year or next year. Thought it was this year, but nobody talked about it, so I thought next year. Then JD was asked about it and said Monday would be the answer. So the 5th year option for Becton has to be decided soon. So this is his 4th year because remember he played well his rookie year and then he's missed the last 2 seasons. So this coming season is year 4. If we don't pick up the 5th year option, then our only option would be to franchise him if he has an amazing year, to put a tag on him, but that's more expensive. We could put a $13 million tag on him. I think it's worth the risk. But some people would very much disagree with me, and I won't argue with them. I understand he missed 2 years. I understand it. But he looks so good, and if he's really in camp looking great, and everything they've seen in OTAs, he looks great. $13 million. I mean, it would suck if he didn't pan out, but it's not $20 million. It's not $25 million. It's like there are guys who, I mean, Denver's stuck with Wilson. Arizona's stuck with their quarterback, Kyle Murray, paying them freaking $40+ million. I mean, there's worse situations. I just feel like Becton's going to have a great year, and I would roll the dice. I'd pick up the option so we know we have him for another year after this. Both Aaron Rodgers plays 2 years, which I think is very likely. It's possible. It's possible he was overshadowed. Fabini was an fourth round offensive, a good player for a few years. Yeah, look, Max Mitchell was a fourth round pick, and he was good. Max Mitchell doesn't get hurt last year. He was going to probably be one of our, like pleasant surprises. He was a pleasant surprise, but he would have been more of a pleasant surprise. Play like a Jet is pretty awesome. Yeah, his tape on McDonald was fantastic. I appreciate him and what he does. Shrevler for running back. I don't think so, brother. Watsu K99 is boss too. Yeah, that's why he's a co-host of mine and a friend of mine, and that's why he's such an important part of the channel. Super important part of the channel. Helped me build it. I owe him a lot. Twisted, you have a bone to pick with me? Send me an email. What's up, brother? What's the bone? What did I do? What did I do, man? Send me an email and let me know. You got my email. I'll make it up to you. Whatever the bone to pick is, it's not intentional. Twisted. It's not intentional. That's all I could say. I'm not looking for any enemies. I'm not looking for anybody to be upset. I'm not looking for anybody to be unhappy with me. I work really hard to try to keep everybody happy with me. I promise. Trying to make everybody feel good. That's my whole thing in life, because I believe in karma, and I believe that if you try to make people happy and you're good to people, then it comes back to you. That's my whole philosophy. So if I'm making someone feel not good, and you really truly have a bone to pick with me, then you need to send me an email so I can work it out with you. I think I saw John Nolte here. If you're here, what's up, Salty? Salty's working on something in life, and he's a great guy and everything. I love Salty. Salty McNulty. I'm excited to see Tipman. Yeah, definitely. Excited to see Tipman. And Abracadabra. Is Abracadabra the nickname of McDonald? Because he likes the way he gets around offensive linemen? Well, thank you. You're talking about me. I'm just sitting there talking, but I appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot of people showed up on a Saturday night when I just randomly came on without any warning. It makes me feel very, humbled. McDonald 4 was used as 4-eye last season, and his tape was still good. In 20 and 21, he was scary good. Exactly. That's what I meant, Hater. That's what I was saying. You line that guy up wide, he is a freaking animal. But I would love for him to add some muscle so he can still, so he can be used, over the tackle. But I'm not complaining, man. When that guy is wide, boy, he's like a train. He's not a train. He's like, it's different. Because he's so maneuverable. He's so quick and fast. I love the way his technique. That's what I want to say. He's a tactician. It's not that he's just, I did well because I'm a better athlete. It's his technique. Like the way he positions and recognizes the offensive tackle's disposition. That offensive tackle, there's so much pressure on them when they have to block McDonald, because if they make one fundamental mistake, if their arm is in the wrong place, and you can watch it on Play Like a Jet. Play Like a Jet. Did a great job. When he shows it, when the offensive lineman makes any mistake, McDonald capitalizes on it right away. He is all over it. So make sure after this, don't do it now, but after this, make sure you look for Play Like a Jet. I don't get paid by him. He's never been on my show. I don't even know if he cares about me or if I'm alive or who I am. This is purely just out of pure respect for somebody who made a great video and put it out there for all of us. He did a great job in showing McDonald's and broke it down very nicely. I hope Kuntz does well, mostly for being able to say his name every week. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I can't resist. I came up with a million pun jokes right away. Green Bean got pissed. I sent it to him. He was like, really? I was like, oh, okay. I know what kind of mood he's in today. Okay. I was like, you were a comedian. And you know I do improv. Like, you don't think I'm going to come up with a billion pun jokes when we draft a guy named Kunst? You're actually going to give me a hard time about that? Come on. Of course I'm going to come up with things like, I expect Kunst to get a lot of balls. I mean, how am I not going to say that? How am I not going to say that I hope Kunst doesn't stink? I mean, like, I can't resist those kind of things. I'm an improver. Groaning kind of pun jokes are my life. By the way, I released a video on Cravat Attack tonight that people are giving me some great feedback on. I reviewed a pizza place in Sacramento. So you just let you guys know that people have been enjoying that. My name, Cravat Attack, one word, Cravat Attack. My other channel with my brothers. I finally put out and published a food review. The last few were from my brother Lee, but they're all good. But I know some of you guys are like, hey, where's Jeremy though? We subscribe to see our friend Jeremy. So they were like McDonald too. Who? McDonald too. I don't know. Apparently I'm gonna people are holding me to this because when we drafted him, I said I'll eat a McDouble every time McDonald gets a sack. So now I'm going to have to order McDoubles from McDonald's before the games and just put them in the fridge and then run down and say, hey, Green Bean, wait a minute. Run down, throw one in the microwave for 20 seconds, run back upstairs and eat a McDouble every time McDonald gets a snack. And then, of course, what happens is after the game, if he didn't get any sacks, do you really think I'm going to let those McDoubles go to waste? So much for the diet. Oh, if you want to go on, you find Jet Central. Yeah, well, Ian knows a lot about the players, but the way that play like a Jet breaks it down though. Also, Jets Factor, X Factor or whatever, with Joe Blewett. Joe Blewett's one of my freaking one of the people I respect as much as anyone in our Jet community. Joe Blewett is you might not agree with every opinion he has, but he is great. He spends hours breaking down tape. So, and guys, there's no amount of money. There's no way he's getting compensated at all for the work that he's putting in. I mean, this is passion and love. So Joe Blewett's another guy who deserves huge shout outs, huge love for what he does. And I'm sure he will eventually put out, he does a lot more than Luke. It's not just that it's a more longer, usually live, more like a half an hour, 45 minutes of analysis of a player. Snowball, what's going on? Good to see you. I had a really good time with the draft, guys. I spent the weekend with Nick Shine online on his channel. I'm proud New York Jets fan. I really enjoyed it. Got to talk to some of you, came in and out and said hello. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good weekend. So thanks for those of you who came. For those of you who didn't, make sure you check out Proud New York Jets fan. Nick Shine is a great guy. Brees and Lazard at the game with Rodgers. That's cool. That's pretty awesome. And they're at the Rangers game? That's crazy. That's crazy. I love how active Brees is, and I love that he's so excited to have his friend McDonald on the team. Yeah, it's you know what? I mean, it's like the draft happened. We got the players. Now we just root hard for the players. So what time is it there? I can't see my computer screen. I really need 5:20 a.m. here. Oh, so my brother is in Greece, hopefully making videos. Lee, I just posted 5 new videos. I released one of them, but I got 4 in waiting for our channel, and you got a bunch up there, so we're going to be good for the next 10 days. But make sure you do those food reviews in Greece. I'm sure people will have fun watching you eat Greek food and tell them about it. That's the Improv Man is another name for my brother Lee Cravat, everybody, just so you know. And you've probably noticed if you've watched my short videos that once in a while it's not me. It's a guy that looks a lot like me, and that's Lee. So he's in Greece right now, hopefully having an amazing time. I wish I was in Greece right now. I do. I really do. I'd probably have a feta cheese and spinach omelet if I was. And Jets Mess is here, and he's saying the answer is Lee Cravat. He's always the answer. Who is the improv man? Jets Mess, Lee Cravat. Tennessee, which game are they at? No. I'm guessing the Rangers game, right? Yeah, there we go, Rangers game. So the Rangers are up 4-1, so it looks like we forced the game 7. That's good news. I'm excited about that. I am. Okay, so finally I found Twisted finally responded. What are you saying? Because I can't read my computer screen. I got to get like reading glasses, literally. Laughing alone. So was I. Laughing alone. So was I. Jeremy doesn't like to give us much of a heads up, Snowball. Oh, your bone to pick is that I don't give a heads up that I'm. Well, I didn't know I was going to get to go live tonight. That's why. That's why I didn't give a heads up, because I just didn't know. I didn't know. I tried to put out a post about Wednesday that I wouldn't be on because I was doing Buffalo for a couple hours and I wasn't feeling great. So I was like, there's no way I can go on tonight and do another show. So, but I'm sorry that I can't give a big heads up. I try to stay on longer, so you can always do the rewatch. Like you can watch this and then rewatch what you missed. Zachary Berner. This undrafted free agency is about wide receiver and linebacker. Yeah, like hopefully we'll hit on one. That's the key, is that we hit on one. You know, we get excited about a lot of them, but like, to be honest, it's about one that he usually hits on. You know what I mean? He just hits on one. How far behind am I, guys? I'm going to catch up. That means I have to skip people. I'm sorry, but John Dalton, I want to say hello to you. I think Yeboah sticks this year. Yeah, we have a lot of tight end talent, but like we're going to lose 2 next year possibly, or at least 1. So Hard Knocks, yes or no? I like Jets One Drive and the show that they do. But I am a big fan. I'm going to just say it, okay? I know that it's not popular with people, but I'm a big fan of Hard Knocks. I mean, even my wife watches it. You know, and she'll watch football sometimes. She's on and off, you know, that kind of thing. Like, it could be worse. She could be one of those wives that hate football. No, she watches the games sometimes. Even when I'm upstairs in the studio, she'll be downstairs watching. But she likes Hard Knocks even. So if it's the Jets, like, I don't know. She gets into the storylines. Like, she likes the stories about certain players. She always gets brokenhearted, though, because they always focus on these guys trying to make the team, and they never do. But then when they put up the thing at the end that they got picked up by another team after that we cut them, she gets happy for them. And then a month later will ask me how they're doing. But it's kind of funny. Let's see. Things are falling into place. I think so. I think Quan and Fant would be the final pieces. Let's get some depth. You know, the offensive line, I always try to get it better. If it fits in the budget, get it better. Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. Make sure that no matter, even if someone gets hurt, that doesn't stop our season. We must keep the offensive line stout. We got to make sure that we have quality on the offensive line. I'm not just talking protection for A-Rod. I want run blocking, because I want to see Breece Hall with an offensive line like Tippmann creating holes. AVT, I want to see him with a healthy offensive line. I want him to be healthy because that guy is special. Chaos. We rock this draft. I'm glad you're happy with it, Eric Craig. That's great. Everybody has different opinions. I'm glad that you're positive about it. Definitely excited about our second pick, Tippmann. I'm excited. If McDonald works out, I'm excited. If he doesn't, I'm pissed. But look, like it's always like it's always, if you see an opportunity to get an edge that you really believe is going to be special, you have to do it, because it's so rare. It's so hard to find a dominating edge. Like, look at the ones that stand out. The one, you get 16 sacks or more, you are elite. You do it for a few years, you're Hall of Fame material. I mean, and there's so few that can do it. If we win a championship, we would not qualify. If we make the playoffs, we don't qualify. So that's why this is the last year we're going to qualify because we don't have a first-year coach. And it looks like the Rangers won. Good. So we don't have a first-year coach. Check. We didn't make the playoffs. Check. We haven't been on the show for the last 5 or 6 years. Check. Whatever that rule is. So we meet all the qualifications to be on Hard Knocks. They're going to want it. Like if you're HBO, who do you want to do Hard Knocks on? We got a Hall of Fame quarterback who just left his team. The biggest story of the offseason in Aaron Rodgers. We got the brightest, biggest, like media star, like real star power player in Sauce Gardner, right? Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner. We got a young, energetic coach that's super popular. I mean, you hear they never don't say bad things about Saleh. The guy is so respected. There's a lot of exciting things to watch. The rehab of Breece Hall, Mekhi Becton, like Hard Knocks. Think about what an interesting show it would be. Then you got this guy McDonald coming in and learning from Lawson. So that would be fun to watch. The McGovern-Tittman battle and that dynamic. Is McGovern going to be open arms to help him? Like there's so many different little storylines. Elijah Moore is gone. Now we got this kid Hardman who just won a Super Bowl. What kind of leadership will he bring with that experience? Is Lazard going to take over as leader of the wide receiver room with Corey Davis coming back? Or is it just going to be lots of leadership? There's so many different dynamics and changes. To me, what would be more interesting than Hard Knocks covering the New York Jets? I'm not saying pay him a lot. I'm talking about not starting, John. I'm talking about depth. What if we paid him $2 million because no one's signing him? $2.5 million, something very reasonable, just to be there in case. Just because we know he has the ability to come in and play at a level that's respectable. I'm not saying he's great. I don't want him as a starter. But for depth, I mean, how good most people don't have a backup tackle that just 2 years ago was very solid. So the guy was looking in for a $15 million contract if he would have been a free agent before last season. But then he played with a bad knee and it cost him. Now he can't find a job. He also switched position like 3 times, but he was also playing hurt. That's the key thing you got to remember. He was playing hurt. I mean, it's amazing because if a guy doesn't play hurt, we call him a wuss. He's not a man. He doesn't step up to the team. Then a guy plays hurt, and it's his knee, so he's not fast enough, and guys are running around him, and now we're mad at him. But definitely his backup. Salty. I never would suggest I want Fant to be our starting tackle at this point. I want Becton back to his rookie form, but better. And I want Dwayne Brown and Mitchell to be healthy and battle it out. Yeah, the chances are high for us to do it. If not now, when? Exactly. Exactly. We can't be patient. We really have to have the attitude that it's got to happen. We got to win the Super Bowl. The window is small. We got to win the Super Bowl. That's going to be our attitude. It's like, I don't care if other fans laugh at us. You think you're winning the Super Bowl? Think we got to win the Super Bowl. We got to win. This is it. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got young studs. The cap craziness hasn't really hit us yet. We have everybody that we need. A couple more pieces, maybe a little bit of pieces, but we have it. We have the players to have a top 5 defense. We have the players to have a decent offensive line, good enough, especially to protect Rodgers with the quickness and the way he gets rid of the ball. We got weapons for him. We got it. He's comfortable with Lazard. If you're not relying on Corey Davis as much, then maybe he stays healthy. If he's not in as much, and maybe he just makes those key plays for you. We got a speedster in Hardman. We got Garrett Wilson. We got a true WR1. We got a special running back in Breece Hall. Knock on wood, let him be healthy. Even if it takes a few games, let him get back to that form. If he was getting 5.2 yards a carry, 5.6, he was leading the NFL. If not now, when? This is it. We could do this. Top 5 defense, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. We could do this. Let's go. I think they can. I'm not going to claim that they will be, but I think they can. If McDonald's goes crazy. Don't forget that Michael Clemens and Jermaine Johnson might get better. We always forget. We look at a rookie, and you look at the way a rookie plays. How many times, if you look at people's careers, is their rookie year numbers their best year? Almost every time when you look at the numbers of a player and their career, their rookie year is nowhere near their peak. So Jermaine Johnson played well. Michael Clemens played well. They were rookies. Breece Hall was a rookie. If he's healthy, oh my God. Max Mitchell, he did well. Rookie. This is his first full offseason in an NFL training room. So a lot of our guys could actually get better. Sauce, can you imagine Sauce being better? Plus, Aaron, a good quarterback makes players better. Ask Chiefs Live, he's here. Ask him how much better Patrick Mahomes makes players. You have a great quarterback, he makes players better in a million different ways. We could go, because the way he can get them the ball, but also the way he leads them. The audibles that he calls, reading the defenses, putting them in positions to succeed, getting rid of the ball faster so you don't have to block as long, getting the ball to the receiver at the right time so the receiver can get that yak. Instead of, sometimes the quarterback will complete a pass and it looks great statistically, but the reality is an Aaron Rodgers would have gotten the ball there a split second faster, and that wide receiver would have gotten 20 yards after the catch instead of being tackled right away. You got to consider all of that. Bobby Woodruff, how you doing? I'm doing better than I was, that's for sure. Hanging in. Today was a better day. You know how you have good days and bad days? Today was a better day. Maybe the distraction of the draft. Saturdays psychologically always feel better. But yeah, better day today. Thanks for asking. Got a little bit of a cough. Anyone else worried about Hardman's slipping into the jokes are gonna just keep coming. Chiefs Live, it's good to see you. We're doing good, man. We're doing good. We're hoping we're gonna play you in the honestly, I hope we don't have to play you and somehow somebody else takes care of you for us. I mean, not to wish you any bad. If we don't win, I hope you do. But if you told me right now the Jets, the future, if I could read the future and know that the AFC Championship game this season is going to be the Chiefs and the Jets, I'll take it, and I'll be very happy for the opportunity. I'll be very excited that we're one game away from the Super Bowl. So in that sense, I hope it happens. I'd rather have it be a team that's a little easier that got there by luck. Not to be a wuss, but I'd rather play like Jacksonville in the AFC Championship game. Some other team on a miracle run that also has no experience. Do I know Johnny Ice Cream? I know. I don't know him personally, but I know of him. Like I watch the videos of him getting ice cream every time the Jets win. You shouldn't be on blood thinners at 21 years old. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Sometimes people go on blood thinners for different reasons. It's scary to go on blood thinners. I've never been, but I wouldn't want to go on blood thinners. The worst is allergy season. When you already have had a cough you can't get rid of. You keep getting sick. Chris Bradigan is here. I see an @ Chris Bradigan, but I didn't see his thing. But if he's here, how you doing, Chris Bradigan? Let me say your name the right way. Chris Bradigan. It is good to see you. Yeah, I hate when meds don't work. Hope you're okay, Chris. Playing Bubba. Yeah, but I don't think it, unless he has a chronic problem, I don't know that he has to stay on blood thinners forever. Like you could have a clot, go on blood thinners, and then they taper you off the blood thinners over time. Like I know people who have been on blood thinners that are no longer on blood thinners. So I don't know, did something come out that he's going to have to be on blood thinners forever? That would be bad news because that would be scary to play football if you're on a blood thinner. Although I'm sure they would know how to manage it. Tackling and running back from the same school. I thought that was brilliant. We grabbed an edge, blitzing linebacker, and a center. Not every draft can be flashy. We needed to get stronger on the lines. Yeah, man. It's not about flashy. It's about what's going to make this team get the pieces it needs to win. And we're going to have to beat other really, really good teams. So, to do it, you have to play teams like Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore. It's not, Pittsburgh's rebuilding. It's not easy. Buffalo. Miami is a division opponent that's always going to be tough. It's not easy. The only good thing about the playoffs is if you can freaking win that division or whatever, get rid of that wild card game, then, man, if you could be in the top 2, though, right? I mean, wow. It's going to be hard to do that, but, man, only having to play 2 games to get there, having to win 3 is much harder than having to win 2, especially when you're playing good teams, playoff teams. But hopefully we win every game we're supposed to win. And hopefully we're better than we think. Like, look, if we start the season, let's say, and we play the Giants because it's 9/11. Monday night, 9/11, New York Giants, Jets. Let's say the NFL does the smart thing and makes that game. We can't lose to the Giants, guys. Like, that cannot happen. Like, if you look at our schedule, if we're losing to the Giants, we got problems. Like, that first game, if it was Kansas City, we could lose that game. It would suck. But I wouldn't be sitting there like jumping off a cliff because it's Kansas City. But if we can't lose to the Giants. If it's the Eagles' first game, I won't jump off a cliff. It sucks, but I won't jump off a cliff. We cannot lose to the Giants if we play them game 1 of the season. That is a bad thing when you look at our schedule. If we can't beat them, we got problems. Because remember, if we want to win the Super Bowl, because we're saying Super Bowl or bust, 11-6 is the minimum, and even that worries me. 11-6, I'm not feeling good that's going to get us a Super Bowl. I think you want. It's barely like us, digestible. Then you have to go on like a miracle run. I mean, 12-5 now. You're starting to think, okay, it's starting to feel right. 12-5, probably have to play a road game, maybe 2, but we're just dangerous enough. It could happen. And then if anything above that, then you're expecting it. You go 13-4, you're going in there with the mentality of we're winning the Super Bowl. Nothing else is acceptable. But it changes that fast. There's a big difference between 11-6 and 13-4. Huge difference. Tremendous difference. Tremendous. So we got to beat teams like the Giants. So when people, that's the one thing that makes me nervous when people talk about, oh, we're going to 9-11, we're going to open up against the Giants. The one thing that gets me nervous is we cannot lose that game. We cannot lose that game. We cannot give away games like that. We cannot. If we're serious and we want to win Super Bowls, we can't treat teams like that as teams we can't beat. Those teams have to be the teams we beat. Because when you play Buffalo, it's a toss-up. I mean, we'll split with them at worst. I believe that with all my soul with Aaron Rodgers. But still, each game with them is a toss-up. When you play Kansas City, I mean, it's freaking Kansas City. When you play Philadelphia, it's Philadelphia. We're playing some top teams. And the ball's not going to fall our way for every one of those games, right? That's where we're going to have to take, so there's going to be some heartbreaking losses, probably, right? So you can't lose to the freaking Giants. You can't lose to Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. No. Cannot lose that game. And we're going to sweep the Patriots. We're going to sweep the Patriots. And we should sweep the Dolphins. We're definitely not losing. We're not getting swept by those teams. Dolphins could possibly steal one. They're a good team. But it would be stealing one. Because what I expect to happen is I expect us to beat the Dolphins both games. I expect to sweep the Dolphins. I expect to sweep the Patriots. And I expect to split with Buffalo. So I think we're going to go 5-1 in our division. And that's the kind of thing you need to do if you want to sit there and talk about being a Super Bowl team. You know, people could say I'm crazy, I'm nuts, oh, that's impossible, the expectation is too high. You want to be a Super Bowl team. You want to talk about winning the Super Bowl. Well, if you want to talk about winning the Super Bowl, that's the kind of thing you have to do. I'm not saying that if we go 4-2 in the division, it's impossible. Of course not. But I'm saying to think it's impossible to go 5-1, or if that's asking too much, or if that's not possible, if you're saying someone's crazy, or if I'm smoking crack because I'm saying we're going to go 5-1 in our division, then why are we talking about Super Bowl? Because if you're talking about being a Super Bowl team, you should have the right to talk about the possibility of going 5-1 in your division, especially when one of those teams is the freaking Patriots, with Mac Jones as their quarterback. Sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about their coach. I'm sick of hearing about it. They have no right to beat us. They had no right to beat us last year. No right. This is the year. We're not just going to beat them this year. We're going to pound them both times. Maybe they'll make one of the games interesting, but one of the two games against the Patriots, it's going to be Sack City in the fourth quarter. They're going to be in shotgun 14 net points down, or in the third quarter, 17 points down, passing every play, and we're going to be harassing Mac Jones. Harassing him. He's going to be hitting the turf. And if he grabs one of our guys' ankles, we'll send Michael Clemens on the field. Am I getting you pumped up? Are you getting excited? Yeah, you better be. We're going to have some field advantage. Got to have home field advantage. Winning the AFC East would be great. 5-1 would do it. Now, there's a lot of tough teams, right? Yeah, I forget about them. I didn't even talk about the Chargers. I mean, on paper, they're good. They never seem to put it together in the season fully, but on paper, they're freaking good. They're really good on paper, man. The Jaguars were looking good at the end of last year. The Bengals are the Bengals. They got that quarterback and those receivers. The Browns, if Deshaun Watson, it's all about Deshaun Watson. If he continues to play like he did last year when he came in, then the Browns aren't a factor. But if he starts playing like the guy that played for the Texans, they could be a problem. I'd hate to get burned by Elijah Moore. I can almost feel that already happening, right? He's going to freaking go crazy on us. We better, as long as we win the game, you know what I mean? But even if we win the game, I have a feeling it'll be with Elijah Moore getting like 150 to 200 yards. Actually, maybe not. We got a pretty good secondary now that I think about it, right? I mean, if he plays the slot, who would be on him? Michael Carter II. So, I mean, Michael Carter II never gets beat for like 150 yards. Like I don't think Michael Carter II ever had a guy put 150 yards on him. When I think about it, I can't think of like he's had games where he struggled a little bit, got some penalties, but I don't think he's ever been like hammered like that. So I think we'll be okay. You know, Cleveland, Elijah Moore went to Cleveland's Leroy, Super Leroy. So I'm nervous about it. You know, I know everybody wants to disrespect Miami because we hate them, but come on, man. That coach was pretty good. You're right, though. I mean, look, I'm not terrified of Miami. I mean, but when Tua plays well, if Tua stays healthy, and that's a big if. I know it's a big if, but if Tua stays healthy, we can't sit here and say they're not good. Like they win when he's healthy. His numbers are good when he's healthy. I don't care if he's throwing 5-yard passes. It works. Like I don't know what to say. I mean, but they have a tough schedule, so I don't think they're gonna. I'm not looking at the Miami as a contender like us. I'm not. You know, with Aaron Rodgers, we took a big jump ahead of Miami. I mean, I don't look at Miami as a team that could beat Cincinnati or compete with Buffalo, and I see us as a team that now can. But I'm not going to sit there and say that they're not good. They're capable of upsetting anybody on any given day. They certainly play the Buffalo Bills really hard, right? I mean, the Bills never roll on the Dolphins. It's like always a freaking dogfight. Yeah, the thing you got to worry about with the Patriots is that they have a coach that has been haunting us. But I don't know how he's gonna he's not gonna phase Rodgers. That's the thing. He's not gonna phase Rodgers. That's the difference. It's not Zach Wilson anymore. It's not Zach Wilson now. So now you're gonna go against Aaron Rodgers. You're not gonna trick him. You're not gonna ruffle his feathers. Vanilla ice cream with chocolate syrup and pecan nuts. That sounds delicious. I actually had soft serve vanilla before. There's a place here that has soft serve vanilla ice cream. Same creamy, wonderful texture as Carvel, not as tasty. Doesn't have the taste of Carvel, but has the texture. And it doesn't taste bad. It's just not as vanilla-y. That's a word. The Miami Jets. I know. And it's funny when you look at the players they have from us, you know? Like the guys that went there are the funny ones. Like they really picked up our superstars now, didn't they? $8 million from Mike White. Damn, that's a lot. He's making more than Mayfield. He's making twice the money that Baker Mayfield is. Is that amazing? It's great. Yeah, they got good receivers. Can't deny that. Waddle and they're a good tandem. But what's good is we match up well against them. Stone Cold. Now, are you talking about Stone Cold Stone ice cream? Or are you talking about Stone Cold 316 Stone Cold Stunner? Cold Stone ice cream. I remember them. They sit with the spatulas on the brick thing and they mix things into the ice cream. I remember them. White will outperform Tua. Watch. Yeah, but he gets hurt a lot. Chris Bradigan, man, we're all behind you. If you need anything, let us know. If you need encouragement, if you need messages of love, whatever you need, you just get healthy, man. You take care of yourself. Do everything the doctors tell you. And you just stay good, man. You stay strong. We love you, man. We want you to be okay. So you do what you got to do, and you realize that you have an entire community of Jet fans behind you, an entire community sending their thoughts to you, wanting you to be okay. Just remember that. You get through it. All the way in New Zealand, you got somebody thinking about you. You got somebody thinking about you in Sacramento. You got people thinking about you in Virginia, in New York, in Florida. You got people in Iowa. thinking about you. Texas. Everybody's rooting for you, man, to get better. So you fight the good fight, my brother. This was the almost draft. We missed at least 4 good players by 1 pick. I felt that way too. I was telling my wife that. I was like, I felt that, first the Broderick Jones thing, but I also felt that way at linebacker. I kind of feel right before we traded back that when Owen Popoe got picked, I was convinced we were going to pick him. And I said, my God, Arizona picked them freaking 2 picks before us. Owen Popoe went off the board. I cursed. I was not happy. That pissed me off, man. But when we picked Israel and picked not just a running back, but when we picked a running back that we were actually tracking and a running back that we were actually excited about, that was a cool moment, man. Because Tigo was all over that. He got me so into that running back. And I was joking on the draft on Proud New York Jets fan channel on the mock. When we were talking at the end, I was saying, let's get Israel. And we had a Titan fan who didn't know what I was talking about. He goes, what do you mean you want Israel? Like the country? And I was like, no, the player. So, of course, man, we're all there for you, brother. Thank you. We all love you, man. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do in our community. All your participation, man. For making us have a bigger community. Chris freaking Bradigan. You think that's why Green Bean was such a bad move? A lot of players got taken before our pick. Was he happy about I didn't watch that channel, so I don't watch that channel. Was he happy about Kuntz that we picked a tight end? Because Green Bean usually likes tight ends. I think the only thing he probably didn't like was the name, that we were all making jokes about the name. But I imagine that he was happy we took a tight end. So. Well, thank you, Gina. That's why I wanted to come on tonight. I said I got to get on so I could see some people. I've been on Proud New York Jets fan channel, but it's not the same, right? It's like sometimes I said I need to go on my own channel and have a rant. It's just been really hard for me lately. So I had a really good day. So I said, this is a good day that I could do it. So I'm here. A lot of big changes in life, guys. Lots of life changes coming that I'll talk more about. But compared to what Chris Bradigan is going through, you're not going to get a complaint out of me. I will not complain. I know that he's going through a much tougher thing than me. So I'm going to really put him on top of my mind right now. So, yeah. I love that even Jets Mess calls her Aunt Gina. You're everybody's aunt. Aunt Gina, you got to call Green Bean. You got to call him up and cheer him up or whatever. Find out why he's so grouchy. But if you tell him I told you he was grouchy, he's going to get mad and say, why did Chaos tell you I was grouchy? I'm not grouchy, man. I'm tired. Yes, you've been busy, but all good things, I hope. It's great to see you. Some good, some bad, but life. Here now, though. I'm actually going to have to go soon because I've been on so much longer than I thought I was going to be on, and oh my God, is it really that late? I gotta cook some food. Was I really on that long? What the hell? How long has it been? Oh my God. I told my wife I'd be down in an hour. I sound just like him. Don't tell him that. If you tell him I do a good impression, that was a great impression. Don't tell me I got Green Bean down. I don't want to ruin it now. I don't want to ruin it. I've always wanted to be able to imitate him. Was I just able to do it, man? I don't know what come over me, man. Suddenly I could do Green Bean. You know what, man? Manscaped. You got to trim your beard and take care of your junk, man. But make sure you use the Green Bean code. I need 3 more to come in with my code to keep them as a sponsor. I'm busted. You think she's gonna tell on me? My Aunt Gina's the reason I'm a Jets fan, man. She took me to a bar when I was like 8. That was it. I was hooked. My whole life, I could have been a Giants fan like the rest of my family, celebrating Super Bowls. But instead, because of my Aunt Gina, I'm suffering. I'm a long-suffering Jets fan. But you know what, man? It all brought me here. It's like sliding doors, man. If I would have been a Giants fan, I wouldn't be here. I just learned what a sliding door was the other night. Oh my God, I'm gonna do a whole show. I'm gonna do a whole show as Green Bean. I swear to God, I'm gonna do a whole show as Green Bean. He's gonna come at you like a spider. I know he's really gonna come after me. He's really gonna come after me. It's so funny that I think it's funny. I've made Nick Shine come after me. I was worried when he picked me up in New Jersey, the first thing he was going to do is beat me up. Oh my God. You think he's going to think it's funny? It depends on his mood. If he's in the wrong mood, he won't think it's funny. But if he's in the right mood, he'll think it's funny. Just depends on his mood. Because he'll analyze everything I say. I don't say that, man. I knew what a sliding door was, man. You know, like he's gonna analyze everything I say. I'll wear a fake white beard. I definitely have to get one. Now I have to. I just have to. I got the cap that Tom C got me. I'll wear it backwards with the white beard. I'm not gonna read the chats though, so I'll take my glasses off, and I'll have a water bottle, like with the fizz in it. Like I'll say, honey, can you put the fizz in the water? And I'll have like a bottle and I'll keep drinking it. He gets mad quickly though. You got to be really careful. You got to be really careful with him. Like he's got to be in the right mood. And I can't say anything that would get him mad. And as he's saying, you get mad when you talk about Mims. He loves Mims. I do too, though. He knows that that's the one thing he never forgets. Green Bean will forget certain details where I have to remind him and I get frustrated. But then at the same time, I never have to remind him of the players that we love in common. Like he never forgets that. He's always like, I know Chaos is with me on this. Like he knows every player that he likes, that I like also. So he always knows when he has me as an ally. He'll be like, Chaos will tell you. So it's really funny that like some of the details that he'll remember. Yeah, that's a good idea. You got to have all the different little things. Like, so I got to get a pen. Yeah. The beard, the hat on backwards, the pen, a bottle of seltzer. I have the same soda stream he has. So I have the same bottle. So it looks the same. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'll wear a Jets jersey. It'll be good. It won't be the white hat. I got the beige hat, but it'll be close enough. I've got to do it. Should it be a video or a live show? It'd be funnier if it's a live show because then it could be interactive. Like you could ask me questions and I'll answer it as Green Bean. I just don't know if I could hold the impersonation as strongly. Sometimes when you impersonate someone, it's easy to do like one or two sentences. You get a quick laugh. But if you keep doing it, then people are like, it's really not that good. So I don't know. So that'll be one thing to figure out. Should it be a video or should it be a live show? I don't know. He had been drinking some strong coffee called Death Wish. That's funny. Hey, guys, I have to go because I have to make dinner or my wife is going to be moody. Man, the player, he has a great rookie year. He barely gets a chance. The worst offensive coaching in Adam Gase. The new staff comes in. He gets food poisoning. For some reason, he has to play every position, man. mean, give Mims a chance. It'll be a live show. I'll talk about. I just talked about Mims. I did it. That's it. Run before Green Bean gets here. No, I really got to go. It's freaking 8:20 here, and we haven't had dinner yet. So, and we had a very early lunch. We went to the place I reviewed, the barbecue place. We were there at 11, like 15, and we didn't eat like pigs. All I got were the burn ends and a thing of grits. Like I didn't pig out. I didn't get tons of food. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you for being here. And I'll try to be back as often as possible. I promise. But thanks, everybody. Take care. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. And I'll give you this.
We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, we're in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah.